Kieran decided if we were going to get any ball, we had to do a bit of variation. And in those days, there were very few variations used in lineouts. So he decided we'd put Foley standing at number 1, Brendan Foley standing at number 1 in one lineout. I would stand at number 2 and Mossy would stand at number 3, just to try and confuse the All Blacks somewhat. We reckon the All Blacks failed to spot that we had a second row standing at number 1 because their props were equally big. Anyway, Foley won the ball at number 1.
Well, I moved more to 1 than to 2, and we just took a fast ball really at 1, and lucky enough I got my head set in.
He won the ball but not cleanly. It ended up in a ruck, and I passed it to Tony, who chipped it quite shallowly but beyond the advancing three-quarter line of the All Blacks. It bounced, and Stuart Wilson and Jimmy Bowen were both running full out for the same ball. It bounced Jimmy's way, and he was past his opposite number and running into the All Blacks half of the field. He beat the full-back with a swerve. He kept going inside the 22, and then the cover closed him down, but he held on to the ball long enough to be able to pass it inside to Christy Cantillon, who was up in support, and Christy scored from 5 or 6 yards out.
The intention was there, but you never know what way the ball is going to bounce. So equally, when you take a risky chip like that, particularly wide, if you get a bad bounce, that could have been Stu Wilson racing down the other end of the field. That is the reality. But the intention was to attempt to put it into space, to bring us through onto the ball, because their defence was very flat.
We won a line out on our own 25, and Tony got the ball and he chipped it, and to this day I would say it was probably he was taking a big chance with it, really, because it could have got anywhere. But anyway, it just seemed to fall into my lap, and I went around Stu Wilson, and I broke. I think McKegney was the full back for. I broke his tackle, and Brian Williams was coming across from the far side, and somewhere about 5 to 10 yards from the line, I offloaded to Christy, and Christy went in.
I do recall it, and you know, I think you can blame all of us. You know, the back three particularly. We're meant to cover those sorts of kicks, and but as I mentioned earlier, when you're not totally focused for the game, that's when things start to go wrong. And I remember the ball bouncing crazily, and you know, hoping to cover it and not being able to, and you know, the try being scored. So yeah, just a lack of concentration, I think.
It was a kick and chase. We scrambled, we made a mistake, we scrambled, we were under a bit of pressure, we didn't handle that pressure, they got a lucky bounce, bang, try, you know. It happens.
Now, in 10 other matches, any one thing could have gone wrong, and they just happened to go right. So, I mean, I think that reflected, I think that we got the sort of sharpness and the balance right on the day.
Munster did get the only try. It was a little bit of a blur at that stage for most of us, and these guys were coming, the red shirts were coming out of the sky in all directions, and so I can't remember a lot of the detail of the try, but it was certainly there wasn't much doubt that it was a fair try, and that was what sunk us.